Alexander Bondarev won the WSK Supermaster Series in Alexander to the right of your screen, 201. That is Sebastiano Pavan, who won his pre-final this morning for the Tony Kart Racing team. The question is, can they catch Bondarev off the start? He's been brilliant off the heats. He starts out at grid 1. They'll need to make a move early. They know it. Pavan, Eichmann, Salim Hanna, Lewis Werrell. The 1 minute board goes up. There is the Williams F1 Academy driver. There is the Prema duo. 1-3 on the grid. Grip early on. That is critical. And we're underway with the OK final. The Kart set off on their formation lap. This is the grid. Bondarev on pole. Pavan out of grid 2 for the Tony Kart Racing team. The second Prema, Salim Hanna, who's won here in the past. Starts alongside the Belgian. Ian Eichmann's the Oakman out of 4. DCC out of 5. Lewis Werrell out of 6. Kai Rilliart's been in brilliant form for the Tony Kart team. Alongside Kavalkin, Jaakko Kamenek for Dixia Motorsport. Roland Kuklan, the Estonian, out of 10. Xavier Avramidis, the awesome Aussie, out of grid 11. Alongside Jetty Skulinov, Konsani, Shilkunis, Stiller in the Kali Kart, the New Yorker Vivek Kantan. Shimek, Graham, Guy Elbash on the podium last week. The Israeli starts out at 19. Tiziano Monza, the Swiss Singaporean, out of 20. Bugunovic and Alexander Elliot Kaczynski. Then come the Australians, Dante Vici, split by Tomas Kansei and Lewis Francis. Mies Halban, Elia Papachena, Vasilios Apostolidis in the AKM kart. Zach Drummond, out of 29. Ella Ladema, out of 30. Noah Wolf, the Brit, out of 31 alongside Vucic. Voda for RFM. Busso, Freddie Lloyd, Smith, Joseph, he's alongside the Angol and the African, scraping into the field. For AKM Motorsport, Lorenzo Campos from the southwest of Africa. He was on the podium in X30 12 months ago in the WSK Champions Cup. It's a different proposition in 2024. He starts grid 36 in the OK final. Another formation lap. I'm going to suggest to you that was tactical. Bondarev was ready to go. The Kart Republic is good early on. He put tents between the field in the heats and the pre-final. And the rest of the field, suggest to you that Pavan, Eichmann's, Werrell all worked together there to hold back, so there was no chance of a restart. To get extra temperature in the Lacan tyres, the Kart Republic is good out of the gate. The other manufacturers come on strong. The lap times, there's virtually nothing in it by the end of the race, but early on, that's where Bondarev is quick. The aggression to warm the Lacan tyres. If they're going to beat Bondarev, let's be honest, they need to beat him off the start. Sebastiano Pavan, out of grid 2 for the Tony Kart Racing team. Here's Joseph Smith for the Victory Lane team on the final row of the grid, alongside the African Lorenzo Campos. Again, Sebastian's holding back, as is Eichmann's, but we look set to go under the control of our race director, Mr. Alessandro Ferrari. Welcome to the center of the karting universe. South Garda Karting Lonato, round 1, the WSK Supermaster Series. We race! The Prema Racing duo go 1-2, sideways goes Sebastiano. And the Tony Kart driver's afternoon was almost over. Right then, Jaakko Kamenek goes straight over the ripple strip at the exit of turn 3. This is ominous. Bondi is gone. The Williams F1 Academy duo, or driver, the Prema duo go 1-2, an incident into turn 6. We've lost Andy Konsani and Vivek Kantan. You saw them flash by to the left of your screen. They're both out. Pavan was sideways into turn 2. The Tony Karts 3 and 4. The Prema Racing duo 1 and 2. Look at the gap. Alexander Bondarev 1 second in 1 lap. And the bad news for the rest of the field, in P2 it's his teammates. Sebastiano Pavan goes down the inside. The Italian into second. He'll be driving the wheels off the OTK kart, powered by the Vortex, to try and catch up to the Ukrainian. Cosman Christopher settles into P5. Head of Roland Kuklana, Ian Eichmans, Lewis Werrell, Xavier Abramides, Tiziano Monza, a Swiss Singaporean, also with the Tony Kart Racing team in position 10. Head of Marcus Shilkunis, Jaakko Kamenek, and a stunning start from Elliot Kaczynski from mid-pack, the Swede up into position 13. He's made 9 places off the start. As we start lap 3, the gap 1.2 seconds. There's Cosman Christopher sideways in the background. Roland Kuklane, Ian Eichmans, Lewis Werrell will try and take the Estonian. This on your screen is Sebastiano Pavan. This is Salim Hanna. The Prema Duo 1 and 3. The Tony Karts 3 and 4. The Oakman goes P5. The Belgians had enough of this. He set fastest lap in the race in the final last week, finishing P2 to Bondarev. He goes by and takes Cosman Christopher and Roland Kuklane and Lewis Werrell. The gap 1.2 seconds, it's down to 1.1. Okay, Sebastian's catching him. Here we go. Bondarev had a lead of 1 second after 1 lap. We know the Kart Republic's quick. He put 1 second as predicted by the rest of the field. On the rest of the field, I should say. But now the rest of the pack, which is down to 30 drivers after we lose Shimek, Kavalkin, Shkulinov, Konsani Stiller and Vivek Kantan. Well, we've still got the majority of the race to catch. There's Zach going through. Drummond ahead of Guy El-Bajdi, Israeli, who was on the podium last week ahead of Freddie Lloyd, who's made an unbelievable start. Lloyd from grid 34. Listen to this, he's up into P16. He's passed 18 karts in 4 laps. The second fast Freddie for Ricky Flynn Motorsport. Lloyd is flying. He just goes purple in the first sector. Bondarev go with a 47.853. The gap stays at 1.2 seconds. Sebastiano Pavan, the OTK chassis. 32mm, the Vortex power. Trying to get grip, it'll come on later. As you see the Kart Republic standing on 3 wheels. Maximum rear track, 1400mm. Third bearing is in. Softest axle possible here in freezing cold circumstances. In the second race of the 19th season of WSK promotion competition. 1081 gearing, maybe someone's got a 1082, which would be absolutely smashing the rev limiter down the straight at 124 k's an hour. There's Eichmans in P5 with a 47.7 last time versus 47.5 for Bondarev. Kai Rilliats, the first Belgian in 4. Eichmans, the second in 5. Kai goes by, that's the Oakman. Back to Lewis Werrell. Cosman Christopher, Shilkunis. Xavier Abramides, the awesome Aussie from Melbourne, on debut for the Tony Kart Racing team. He took a victory in his first heat in WSK competition at Cremona last year in the Supermaster Series. Now only the 4th Australian ever to race for the Tony Kart Racing team in World WSK competition. Well, that's a slight stretch. James Courtney and Ryan Briscoe, they were racing for the team from Prevale in the 90s before the formation of WSK in 2006. Sebastian Escandari, the Queenslander, the other, who took victory last year in the WSK Mini Super Cup for the Tony Kart Racing team. There's Xavier Abramides, a trio of Tony Karts, head of Tiziano Monza and the Swede Elliot Kaczynski for Ward Racing. Kamenek, Drummond, Freddie Lloyd. Wow! P14 from grid 32, ahead of Dante Vinci. 47 dead for Bondarev. 1.3 seconds between himself and the OTK kart for the Tony Kart Racing team of Sebastiano Pavan. Salim Hanna, the 2 Belgians. Kai Rilliats and Ian Eichmans. The Oakman about to line up his countryman. There he goes. Eichmanns goes on by. He takes Kai, gives him a wave. He knows the leaders are getting away. We'll check the times. It was 1.3 seconds again. Stays the same between Bondarev, Pavan, Salim Hanna, Eichmanns P4, Rilliards 5, Lewis. Werrell with a 46.912. Fastest driver on the circuit is Lewis from Lincolnshire. For the Forza Racing team, he's lapping even faster than Bondarev. The longer laps in the final, that will help the if we can say it bluntly, the non-Prema drivers who still run 1 and 3. They were so quick off the line. 1 second after one lap for Alexander Bondarev, who won 7 days ago in the season-opening WSK Champions Cup. This is the Oak Man from Herentals in Belgium, the second-generation racer. His father Wim with a start in the 1999 Indianapolis 500. Bondarev, the Williams F1 Academy Junior, who's still suffering with that right leg after that huge crash in Spain a couple of years ago, particularly on these freezing cold northern Italian mornings. But it's not hindering him at all. The gap 1.4 seconds. Lewis again goes purple. There's the Forza Racing driver on the back of the second Belgian. Kosman Christopher, Shilkunas, Avramidis, Zach Drummond, Monza, Kaczynski, Lloyd. Lloyd from the back of the grid now in 13, ahead of Guy Elbaz, who was on the podium last week. 46.8 for Bondarev, 46.8 for Pavan. Marginally faster. Lewis in P5. Tony Kart Racing, team drivers, P2 with Pavan, P5 with Kai. First year in OK Senior for Lewis Werrell. Mega talent from the Kings England. This is the Belgian now with the Birillard Racing team. Ian Eichmanns, fastest lap in the final last week in the WSK Champions Cup, trying to get up onto the podium. He's still got the second half of the final to do it. Pavan looks behind. The gap 1.3 seconds as Pavan goes purple. 46.70 to 10th of a second faster that time. Here we go, the second half of the final. The first round of the WSK Supermaster Series. Bondarev just looks across to his mechanic in the left. We go down the hill. Prema, 1 and 3. First Belgian, that's Eichmanns for Werrell. In 5 from Rilliards, Kosman Christopher. Shilkunas, that's Zach Drummond, the Glaswegian, ahead of Tiziano Monza. And Xavier Avramidis, the first of 3 Australians in the field. He's in P11. Ahead of Kaczynski, Elbaz, Lloyd. Well, it gets harder from here. Freddie Lloyd from the back of the grid stays in P14. Picks up 1 place, though, with the retirement of the Estonian, Roland Kuklane, who's out. The gap 1.2 seconds. Bondarev perfect out front. He was the fastest qualifier on Friday with a time of 46.478. So 0.3 of a second faster than they're going here today, obviously. Qualifying setup. Still a very cold circuit. That has been the talk of the week, trying to get grip. There is rubber going down. We've had no rain, but we've had such heavy fog that we've come to the track each morning, and the track, it looks as though there's been a downpour. It has not rained. The final heat on Friday night, you could not see from one side of the circuit to the other. You couldn't see the next corner, in fact. Left the track very, very wet. There is rubber going down. It's only 9 degrees Celsius here on the last weekend of January. The 19th season of WSK promotion competition. The first of 4 rounds here. Cremona in 2 weeks. Franciacorta a week after that. And then Saturday, the 2nd of March, the series final at Circuito Internazionale Napoli, simply known as Sano. Let's check the gap, 1.2, 1.1 seconds, down to 9/10. Pavan starting to catch. Has he got enough time? Bondarev has not put a foot out of place, or more literally a Lecoq tyre off the racing line. uses every piece of the concrete verging. The Ukrainian now living in Monza, the home of Italian motorsport. The Ukrainian driver, after a couple of years living in Spain, where the weather, I can promise you, is much better than it is here in the north of Italy. There's Shilkunas going through, head of Drummond, Monza, and Xavier Abramidis. Lewis Werrell with the purple sector. So we start lap 16 of 21. 6 laps to race. The gap 0.8 of a second. Sebastiano is coming, he's catching. Salim Hanna still in position 3. 1 second ahead of Eichmanns, who's desperately trying to get up onto the podium. Sebastiano driving as hard as possible. Lewis with a 46.5, 0.3 of a second faster than Alexander that time. Werrell is flying. The Forza Racing driver in P5, but it looks as though the Brit has left his run too late. Last time the gap was 0.8, it's 0.6. Sebastian's catching. Sebastiano Pavan takes 0.2 of a second out of the Ukrainian. There is Salim Hanna, there is Ian Eichmanns driving the wheels off the 209 Viral Art. Vortex versus Iami. Kart Republic versus Tony Kart. Skates down into the chicane. Absolutely on the limit, the Ukrainian and the Italian. This battle, this war between two of the biggest manufacturers in the world, Kart Republic and Tony Kart. 4 laps, 5 kilometers to race at the most famous kart racing circuit in the world. 0.5 of a second. Another 10th for Sebastian. At this rate, he will catch him. Alexander Bondarev, the gap was 1.3 seconds. It's down to 0.5. Here comes Sebastian in second place. The Tony Kart Racing Team driver on your screen, driving the wheels off the green machine, powered by Vortex, sets off after the Prema Kart Republic. Sebastian's catching. Lewis Werrell still the fastest driver on the circuit. The Englishman behind the Belgian in P5. 0.58 last time. We'll check it now. It's out to 0.6. Okay, that might be the end of the match. Alexander Bondarev trying to go 2 weeks in a row. Still Salim Hanna in third place. He's been caught by Eichmanns. The gap down to 0.4 of a second. The battle for the final step of the podium. Sebastian running out of time. A superb effort for the Italian, for the Tony Kart Racing Team. You can see Eichmanns is on the back of Salim Hanna. The Belgian has caught Il Colombiano. The fight for the final step of the podium. The rest of the field pour on through. Wolf, Halban, Albash, Francis Smith. 0.5 of a second. 2 laps remaining. Eichmanns on the back of Hanna. In the background into turn 3, the Belgian, he's been caught by Lewis Werrell. It's a 3-cut fight. Alexander looks over his shoulder. He won the season opening WSK Champions Cup 7 days ago. And it looks as though he will take victory in the first round of the Supermaster Series. Sebastian has thrown everything at the Ukrainian. He's got 1 lap to go by the Williams F1 Academy driver. Last lap for Bondarev. The gap is 0.6. Sebastian superb in second, but Bondarev has got this under control. The fight for the final step of the podium between Hanna, Eichmanns and Lewis Werrell. Sebastian superb in second. In the background, Eichmanns has gone through. The yoke man's onto the podium. Salim, the Colombian, back to third. Alexander Bondarev wins the season opening WSK Champions Cup. He's dominated the final. The Williams F1 Academy Junior wins round one of the WSK Supermasters Series from Sebastiano Pavan. The Belgian Eichmanns takes Salim Hanna Hernandez on the podium on the last lap of the race for third place. Salim 4, Lewis 5, DCC, and then back to Zach in 7. A storming drive, let's give him credit. Zach Drummond from Glasgow. Zach Drummond from grid 29. The Scotsman finishes 7. Bondi wins. Alexander Bondarev has won round one of the WSK Supermasters Series and will take the lead of the championship into Cremona in 2 weeks' time. Sebastiano Pavan superb in second as we take a look at the highlights of the race. The Prema Racing Duo 1 and 2. Watch the Tony karts sideways. Kai Williards and Sebastiano Pavan almost ended their race at the first corner. Eichmanns first going by his countrymen as the two Belgians fought together. Bondarev unstoppable. He wins it. A brilliant effort from Sebastiano Pavan and the Oakman on the podium in third place. Salim Hanna, El Colombiano, P4 for the Prema Racing Team. Lewis 5, DCC, Cosman Christopher in 6. What about Zach? What an attack from the back of the pack. From Glasgow, from grid 29, Drummond finishes P7. But it's Alexander Bondarev who's gone 2 weeks in a row. The Ukrainian for the Prema Racing Team will stand on the top step of the podium. The presentation live from Lonato in just a moment. The podium for a brilliant OK final here this afternoon. The Ukrainian has gone 2 weeks in a row. Round one of the WSK Supermaster Series. In third place with a stunning last lap pass, the Belgian for Team Birulat, Ian Eichmanns. A superb drive all weekend, the Italian for the Tony Kart Racing Team, Sebastiano Pavan. He won 7 days ago, he wins again here today. Welcome to the top step of the podium from Ukraine for the Prema Racing Team, Alexander Bondarev. And representing Prema Racing, Flavio Andriata. Third place to Ian Eichmanns of Belgium. Second place, the Italian Sebastiano Pavan. The winner of the first round of the WSK Champions Cup is also the winner of the first round of the WSK Supermaster Series. The Ukrainian for the Prema Racing Team, Alexander Bondarev. And representing Prema Racing, Flavio Andriata. The national anthem of Ukraine. The podium for the first round of the WSK Supermaster Series. Third place from Belgium, Ian Eichmans. Second, l'Italiano Sebastiano Pavan. And the winner for the Prema Racing Team, the Ukrainian Alexander Bondarev. Stay with us on WSK.IT, the OK and Junior Final, to round out a fabulous week of racing here at Lonato, live in just a moment.